Have you heard it's truck news?
No! The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel, electricity, and on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's the Truck Show with your host, Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard, is proudly presented by Nissan. Nissan has the right truck or family hauler for your needs, along with legendary Nissan durability. Test drive a Frontier or Armada at a local dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan that fits your lifestyle. And if you love your truck as much as we love ours, then why not give it the best lubricants money can buy? A pioneer in synthetic lubricants for more than 50 years, AMSOIL products deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Whether you need oil, lube, grease, transmission fluid, car care products, filters, or even complete oil change kits, you'll find everything you need at AMSOIL.com. If you're a truck guy, then you're definitely a knife guy, and you should have a Kershaw in your pocket. All Kershaw knives, regardless of price point, come with a limited lifetime warranty and lifetime sharpening. Repair parts such as pocket clips, screws, and springs are readily available through the website, and the Kershaw lineup has everything from EDC knives that can be used and abused for under $50 all the way up to high-end collectibles. Thanks to our generous partnership with Kershaw Knives, Truck Show podcast listeners can get 40% off MSRP and free shipping over $50 by using the code 25TSP40 at checkout on the Kershaw.kaiusa.com website. When it comes to amazing adventure content, how-tos, and great storytelling, only one brand is doing it right in the print magazine space, and that's OVR, Outdoor Vehicle Recreation. OVR is about getting out there in our vehicles to explore and discover the world around us. Get complimentary access for a year to the digital library or a discount on your print subscription today at ovrmag.com. Use the promotional code at Truck Show Podcast. Please support the Truck Show Podcast today by patronizing our sponsors. Have you heard?
I mean, no.
All right, so I was part of a call this week where we found out more about the brand new upcoming Ram Ramcharger and a little bit about the Ram Rev, which is the full electric version. I'm going to save my thoughts and sort of some of the details and nitty-gritty for our next episode, but I figured I would tease you guys because I know you, well, you're all waiting and you kind of are curious about that thing. So here's the deets. 647 horsepower, 610 pound-feet of torque from a dual motor system, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and that is at 7,507 pounds of curb weight. Whoa! We'll get into that some more. Four-wheel drive, and it goes 690 estimated miles, and will tow a 14,000-pound trailer. Tim Kaniskis calls it the Goldilocks of trucks. He was basically on the call with some engineers. So there's still a lot for me to unpack there, so I'll save it for the next episode. Been a little busy this week. I was out shooting some videos for the past couple of days, actually with Ram and with somebody you guys might know, Blake Wilkie, who we'll try and get on the show here in the near future. So anyway, stay tuned. More information next episode. All right, so we've been talking about this one for a while now, and that's the fact that if you are a Ford owner, you're probably worried about your late model Ford taillights getting stolen. A, they're easy to steal. B, they're worth a ton of money, especially the ones with the LEDs and the blind spot sensors. And it's been a big epidemic in Texas, so much so that the University Park Police Department has been offering since 2021 to replace the taillight screws with basically a new replacement screw that's tamper-proof. They've done 124 trucks since 2021. And if you are a Park Cities resident, they'll do it for free. And it turns out Detective Jay Schellinger, who is the person who has been doing this, got the idea from a San Diego Police Department detective. And he said in a quote with the People's Newspapers that it's a solution when you've been doing police work for 26 years. It's nice to find things that actually work. You might remember that a right to repair bill had been proposed back in 23, but it stalled before reaching the floor last October. It was reintroduced just a few days ago on February 25th by a bipartisan group of 16 different lawmakers. That includes Neil Dunn, a Republican from Florida, and Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez, a Democrat from Washington. And it was basically put on the floor as the Repair Act, REPAIR in caps. That stands for Right to Equitable and Professional Auto Industry Repair. And it was written by the Automotive Service Association, the Society of Collision Repair Specialists, and the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. And basically what it does is it says that consumers have a right to repair, and this guarantees that independent shops, they can have the same access to data and tools as the dealership, in hopes that this bill, if it makes it to law, could make repairing a car cheaper and more efficient. If you want to know more, you can go to the Repair Act website, which is the repairact.com/drivers. The site notes that in 2021, 21.3% of drivers delayed repairs to factors of cost and convenience. So it's a big deal, right to repair. We stand firmly behind it. And we'll have somebody from SEMA on the show soon to talk about right to repair, among other things. In fact, get some breaking news here. And I'm not totally sure if I can tell you the details yet, but your man Holman is flying to Washington, D.C. to meet with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. And I'll be getting some podcast content out of it. I'll leave it at that for now because I don't know how much I can say, but stay tuned. Good stuff coming. So you guys might remember that we talked about a lawsuit about the 2021 Durango SRT Hellcat and how Stellantis said it was the final edition, and then a bunch of people bought them, and then in 2023, they basically said, oh, wait, nope, we're making more. Well, about 3,000 people represented by the class were upset, sued Stellantis, and apparently went to mediation, and those attempts have failed. And so I guess they're going to be going back to district court soon, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Basically, Stellantis and FCA have come out and said, hey, listen, none of you are mad that the vehicles are defective or failed to perform as advertised. And basically they said, statements about future expected production don't constitute fraudulent misrepresentation. That's according to their legal team. And basically they're saying, hey, listen, we thought 21 was the last year because the evaporative emissions regulations took effect in 22 were way stricter. And then we were out. But then FCA engineers found a way to meet those requirements, and they said, so we brought it back for 23. What do you want from us? So anyway, it sounds like there's some unhappy campers, and we'll see what ultimately happens with that lawsuit. Ford is doing some more killer lease deals on the F-150 Lightning. I've been watching them for a while now because they've had big, $15,000 discounts and low interest rates, and depending on where you live, some really cheap deals. Well, the latest one now is $249 a month, which is about a $10,500 incentive. It's $249 for 36 months, and you get the home charger thrown in. And here's the caveat. I've been watching these really cheap EV leases. When I got my Aria, it was a I think it's like $20. And I only put $1,400 down. And the way leases work is the monthly payment, it all depends on your down, so you have to, put all that money together to figure out what the real monthly payment is. Well, Ford's saying, we'll do this one for $249 a month for 36 months, but you have to put down $6,809. That's a little rich for a lease, so I don't think that deal is as good as it looks when the shiny lease banner is scrolling across your screen. But let's put that aside for a second. Is $250 a month enough, or I should say affordable enough, cheap enough, for you to think about getting an EV pickup truck? If it was like, hey, I'll take a flyer on this, maybe not for 3 years, maybe for 18 months or 24 months, but would you? truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. I'm curious, how many of you out there are curious enough about having an EV pickup that if the lease deal got cheap enough, you would take a flyer on it and just say, I would do it? Definitely want to know about that. So in more Stellantis news, profits at Stellantis fell 70% in 2024. They say they had a net profit of about $5.7 billion. But when you do expenses and all the fun things that make it hard to run a business, they lost about $133 million in 2024. They say they might not even make money until Q2 of 2025. But with a ton of product coming out, the new Ram up to production, things like that, the new Charger EV, although while they fast-tracked the ICE Charger with the Hurricane, it is not going to be out probably till the end of the year at the earliest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. There are some products on the horizon, and there's some interesting things coming, but they definitely have a long way to go. Stellantis is one of those companies that was doing killer right through COVID and never fully recovered once supply chain and other things caught up. I think a lot of it has to do with they got really greedy with pricing. I think we can all agree on that. We've talked about that before. So it'll be interesting with their new EV onslaught. You've got Recon, you've got Charger, plus you've got some ICE stuff coming out. I want to know what sells once it comes out, because I'm sitting here looking at their product mix. I'm going, okay, they have some compelling EV products, but EV in itself isn't compelling. And they're backtracking and saying, well, some of these new vehicles like the Charger and possibly the Recon are going to have an ICE powertrain in them. So what does that mean when you put all your eggs in the EV basket, but then you backtrack and then added ICE powertrain? I don't know if the platform's that's flexible. I don't know how much it would take to reverse engineer a ICE engine into a platform that was originally designed for EV only. It's going to be interesting. And then I want to see what happens with where the consumers end up. Like, what does the consumer want when we are 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line? It's definitely going to be interesting for Stellantis. Now, the Stellantis news can't be all bad, so I just wanted to bring this up. I know we're dropping V8s and we're adding EVs, but that Hurricane is impressive. By the way, our interstitial this episode is the Ram RHO. So if you wanted to hear what that exhaust sounds like, that's what's in between these news stories. If you guys noticed, I've been putting in a lot of different stuff. Usually it's whatever I was driving the week before, but not always. I've been trying to make you guess. There might be something. I'll throw this out there. I'm thinking about doing some sort of contest where if you can name every engine sound over the past 3 months on Have You Heard, might have something for you. I haven't figured out what that is yet, but stay tuned. I think that would be kind of fun. So I just gave it away for this one. Okay, so we know the Hurricane is replacing the Hemi in a lot of places, including the crate engine program over at Mopar. And so they have the Hurry Crate Cat 3 crate engine. It's basically a twin-turbo 3-liter Hurricane straight 6, but the crate engine is a little bit different. The Cat 3 has 550 horsepower, 531 pound-feet of torque. Peak boost of 26 PSI, includes twin Garrett turbos, forged aluminum pistons, oil jet cooled to handle the increased power, and a slightly lower compression ratio of 9.5 to 1, dual high-pressure fuel injectors, and a much, much more robust cooling system. So that's the Cat 3. It starts at $13,745. And Allison Kovalik, who has a 99 Dodge Dakota, recently became the very first person to run a 9-second quarter mile with the new Hurricane. It was built by her Gen 2 garage team, and again, it used the Cat 3. It was originally built for the 2024 Roadkill Nights Grudge Match. Then it basically went and competed at Sick Week, which is a crazy drag and drive event hosted by Tom Bailey. So she competed in the Sick Week Freaks class, and she did 5 drag strips. Her average ET was 10.3 seconds at 127.2. But at the South Georgia Motorsports Park, she ran a really impressive 9.98 second pass at 132.83 miles per hour. So that puts her as officially the first racer to break into the 9s, which is super awesome. So according to the old interwebs, she used nitrous, but she didn't run it at full throttle the entire time. She only did the spray in second, third, and fourth, and then she launched the Dakota without boost. So it sounds like there's a lot of room left, and if you like to drag race, you'll like this. Her 60-foot time, 1.611 seconds. She did the 8th mile mark at 6.373 at 111.41. So it sounds like there's a lot of overhead left in this engine, and I'm excited to see. Will she break into the 8s? I think it's certainly possible. It's fun to see a new engine doing cool things. Even if you missed the V8, there's a lot of us crossover people who love the old 2JZ Toyota engine. Is this like a modern version of that? It'll be interesting. Straight 6s are pretty badass in a lot of ways, as you guys well know. I don't know if you guys saw the Viper V10 powered Wrangler. It's a 2006 Jeep Wrangler X that's been all over the internet the past week or so. It was on Bring a Trailer. This one was a 8.3 liter Viper V10 swap. Had a Dirt Logic front coilovers, Pro Comp rear shocks, 17-inch American racing wheels on 4-wheel disc brakes. The truck was white. Interior was custom and kind of goofy. The whole Jeep looks goofy. It just looks like a white square marshmallow. It's got Dana 60s, chromoly axle shafts, 4-speed automatic, dual range transfer case, amp research running boards. It's goofy looking. And so I was curious to see what this one would do, because it's not I've seen V10 Wranglers before that were done really clean. This one's a little bit on the gaudy side. It does have a nice set of 17-inch American racing wheels, 35-inch BF Goodrich Baja TA tires, long arm, all that stuff. But the interior is pure goofball. It does have a clearing touchscreen, but it's not the Jeep interior. It's this kind of weird custom stereo shop looking interior that does not match the vehicle. According to the Bring a Trailer, the digital odometer said 2,200 miles, which is what it was since the modifications were done. Anyway, it sold. I don't know if you guys saw it. It sold for, can you guess? $34,000. So there you have it. If you want a Viper-powered Wrangler, it's just not my style, I guess. I don't love it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's fine. It's not my style. Somebody spent a lot of money for a Viper V10 that had a Jeep wrapped around it. That's probably not a great Jeep. So, did I say that out loud? Sorry. Internal dialogue went external here on the Truck Show podcast. All right, a couple weird recalls for you this week, so might as well play the old recall jingle.
Check engine light just went on. Noise under the hood takes like a bomb. Recall covers metal, glass, leather, and plastic. Door handle pulled off in my hand. Just fantastic.
All right, so 2 recalls this week. The first one is with Rivian. They recalled 17,000 trucks because the headlights, have some problems. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 2025 model year Rivian R1T and R1S vehicles built between April 9th, 2024 and February 3rd, 2025 says that they may have been built with headlamps that don't meet current production specifications due to incorrectly configured parts from the supplier. So according to Rivian, the low beams might not fire up at startup, but apparently as things get warmer, they turn on. So anyway, that's kind of a weird one. If you remember, Rivian has had some other headlight issues going back to the original one, which didn't melt snow or get warm enough to get ice or snow off of it in cold weather. So anyway, get those things fixed if you are a Rivian owner. And the other weird recall of the week is certain GMC Sierra 1500s and HDs, as well as Chevy Silverado 1500s and HDs, are being voluntarily recalled for emissions. Oh, wait, no, that's not right. For emissions label. So check this out. Certain 2025 GM pickup trucks might have labels that were affixed that lack some of the emissions information that they're supposed to include. And so the necessary info about the emissions is either missing or incorrect, and it's out of spec with the standards. So anyway, the fix is super easy. You go down to your local dealership and they'll put a new VECI label on there, and the original label should be removed according to this report. And that's it. Everything else is fine. Just they put the wrong sticker on it. Go figure. Speaking of wrong stickers, I've got plenty of our old logo stickers to give out. So we got to figure out how to get some sort of get together so I can basically give you guys stickers and we can hang out for a day. And that'll do it for this week's edition of Have You Heard? We'll catch you on the next one.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.
What you talking about, Willis?